So when I say the name Alan Turing, what pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably two things: his incredible code-breaking work in World War II, and of course, the famous Turing test. It's been built up into this almost mythical thing, like he created some secret formula for artificial intelligence. But what if the real story is, well, way more clever, and it all started with a simple party game? Let's get into it.
And really, it all boils down to this one huge question. Back in 1950, in his paper Computing Machinery and Intelligence, Turing asked this question that philosophers had been wrestling with forever. But instead of getting bogged down in endless debates about what thinking even means, he did something completely different. He came at it from a super practical angle.
And right here, this is where that whole myth of a secret AI formula gets started. You know, the idea that Turing just cracked the code, wrote down an equation, and boom, artificial intelligence. It makes for a great movie plot for sure, but it's not quite the truth. So let's peel back the layers and see what's really going on.
To find the truth, we actually have to go way back. And you're probably not going to believe where it all began. It wasn't in some high-tech lab with blinking lights and whirring computers. Nope. It was in a Victorian-era parlor with a very simple party game they called the imitation game.
Okay, so picture this. You've got three people, each in a separate room. Player A is a man, and his job is to trick the judge. Player B is a woman, and her job is to help the judge. And then you have Player C, the judge, who can only ask questions by passing notes or, through a text terminal. Their only goal? Figure out which one of the other two is the woman. It's all a game of deception and trying to spot the lie. All right, now this is where Turing pulls off his masterstroke. He looked at this simple little party game and made one tiny change, just one. But it changed everything. So, check this out. Turing's twist was so simple, but it was absolutely brilliant. He just said, okay, what if we replace player A, the man who's trying to trick the judge, with a machine? Suddenly, the game has nothing to do with gender. The question is now completely different. The judge's new job is to figure out which one is the human and which one is the machine. And this is the absolute genius of it. Turing totally sidestepped the impossible question of, can a machine think? He replaced it with a question you could actually test. Can a machine imitate a human so convincingly that another human can't tell the difference? It's not about what's happening inside the machine's brain, it's all about what it can do. It's about its behavior. So that brings us right back to this whole idea of a secret formula, right? The real genius of what Turing did wasn't an equation. It was a completely new way of even approaching the problem of intelligence.
Let me just say it plainly so there's no confusion. If you go and read that 1950 paper, you will not find some magical formula for AI. It just isn't there. That whole idea is a complete myth.
See, instead of a formula, Turing gave us a framework, a test, a way of thinking about success as a probability. It's basically a scorecard. How often can the machine win this game and fool the judge? It's not about being perfect 100% of the time. It's about performance and success rate. And get this, Turing didn't just leave it at that. He actually put a number on it. He predicted that by the year 2000, computers would be good enough to fool an average person at least 30% of the time after a 5-minute conversation. I mean, think about that. Making a prediction like that in 1950? That's just wild. So if you boil it all down, his whole framework rests on these three really powerful ideas. First, forget about defining intelligence, just test for intelligent behavior. Second, treat the machine like a black box. You don't care how it gets the answer, you only care about the answer itself, the output. And third, success is probabilistic. The machine doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be good enough to fool you a good chunk of the time. Okay, so why are we talking about a 70-year-old paper? What does this have to do with the AI you and I use every single day? Well, it's because this framework, this way of thinking, is basically the foundation for how we build and test almost all modern AI. I mean, just think about it for a second. How do we decide if a chatbot is any good? By how human-like its conversation is, right? How do we evaluate these giant AI models? We give them benchmark tests, the same ones we'd give a human expert. And how do we judge a trading bot? Purely on its results. Did it make money in the market? In every single one of these cases, we're doing exactly what Turing suggested. We're judging based on performance.
So, in the end, the real imitation game, the real legacy of Alan Turing, isn't some secret formula tucked away in a notebook. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. He taught us to stop asking, what is intelligence? And start asking a much more interesting question. Can you tell the difference? And as AI gets more and more powerful,
That question is only getting tougher to answer.